Hi kids, welcome back to my YouTube channel. We are still in this series of unpacking and demystifying this thing we call therapy. I was calling it this crazy thing we call therapy, but I think I want to change it to this beautiful thing that we call therapy. Because I know and trust and believe in the power and the healing that come from showing up in the form of this therapeutic relationship with somebody who's guiding you through it, but you, the client, who is showing up for yourself. So today I want to unpack and talk a little bit about parenting. Parents, how do you know when your kid needs therapy? Parents, how do you know when you need therapy? Um, there's, this is a lot to unpack, and so we probably won't get to everything in this 10-minute segment. But I want to highlight the fact that a lot of parents are going to ask themselves 100 or 500 times a day, does my kid need more than I'm able to give them? Is everything okay? And one, you're not alone. Mom, dad, caregiver, whomever you are, you're not alone in wondering that, because kids go through some really high highs and really low lows. And sometimes it's therapy worthy, right? Like sometimes it's impacting different parts of life that we want to contain the impact so that it doesn't start to negatively affect relationships or schoolwork. Or we also want to acknowledge that when we're going through these ups and downs of life, when our kids are going through these ups and downs, they don't have the coping skills or the maturity or the mechanisms to be able to handle the really high highs and the really low lows. And so I do think it's important that we, as parents, remain open to offering and creating safe space for them to say, hey, I want to go talk to somebody about this. Or, hey, I can't talk to my friends about this. I'm for damn sure not talking to you about this. And I want to, like, I'm not feeling okay. I'm feeling less okay than I am okay. And I want to swap that, right? Like I want to flip that around. I want to feel more okay than I feel un-okay. And in order to do that, I'm going to need some outside help. And so my first thought in guiding parents, and whenever parents ask me this question, is that if you are asking this question 99% of the time, you are trusting your gut and you know that your kid needs more than you can give them. And that's okay. You are their parent. You are not meant to be their everything. You are their parent, and you are not meant to be their therapist or their doctor or their best friend or all these other things that other people can come in and play those roles, but you as their parent can recognize when it might be time. So if you're asking the question, you're already there. Trust your gut. There's something going on that you can't handle. Maybe talking to somebody will be helpful. Now, the next part of this is, how do you get your kid in to see a therapist and actually have them talk? That is goes along with the video that I did earlier in the segment about how to choose your therapist. It's really important that your kid be a part of the therapist selection. Not that they are the ones making all the decisions, but that they are at least a part of it. If they're going to be sharing deep, dark, intimate details about what's going on in their life that they do not want to share with you or anyone else, they need to feel safe. That's one of the hallmark key, most important parts of therapy, is that the client feels safe. And so letting them be a part of that process is important. Again, it doesn't mean that they get to have the last decision, like the ultimate decision. I want to see Susie, who is really, I'm sorry for everyone named Susie, but I want to see Susie, social worker, who was really sweet, and I feel like she's not going to confront me about anything. When really I need to go see, Dr. Dave, who's going to really like hold me accountable and ask me the hard questions, because that's actually what I need. So I also encourage you that if you don't know how to go through that process, that you do some reading about whoever it is that you are looking up. Every person today really should have like a Psychology Today profile or a website. If there is a therapist that doesn't come so highly recommended that you can't go to them without a shadow of a doubt, or they are this unknown entity that there's no information on them, those are the two ends of the extreme. You want to find somebody that's somewhere in the middle, where you've got information about them. You've got a website, you understand what their licensure is, their education is, their biography, right? Like why they're doing this work, what they specialize in. You want to be able to find out those things. And so doing that bit of research yourself first, and then asking for 15-minute free consults. most clinicians will offer it because they understand too the importance of finding the right fit. There's no clinician that wants to work with somebody who doesn't want to work with them, unless they're glutton for punishment. That is rarely. We want to be in this with you, and so we want you to be a part of it and be a big part of it, the biggest part of it. Without you, without your buy-in, without that connection and part of the relationship, very little can happen within those sessions. So parents, back to finding the therapist and really letting your kiddo be a part of that process. What do you do if your kid says, I won't talk? You can sign me up, but I'll go and I won't talk. My little bit of advice is, not having known any other details about you or your family, my loving advice is to say, I love you too much to not give you this opportunity. So it's fine if you go in and you sit there for an hour and you don't say a word. I'll pay for this therapist to sit with you for an hour and you don't have to say anything. But I need you to see and know that I am offering you this safe space to go. 9 times out of 10, y'all, you find the right clinician. You find somebody that is the right expertise, the right temperament, the rapport building, and do those consults, do those free 15-minute consults. That therapist will warm your kid up to where they will say something. And it might just be the beginning. They might just dip their toe in the water. But that communication from parent to child saying, I'm worried about you and I care too much about you to just let this go, is worth its weight in gold. It's worth whatever you spent on the first 5 sessions. That display of love and that action of, we're gonna do this thing, even though I know you don't want to. You're not forcing them to talk. You can't anyway. But you are showing up and letting them know that it's safe for them to go and talk about whatever's going on with somebody else. So please put your questions and comments in the comment section below. I know this is like scratching the tip of the iceberg, just the surface of what it means to be a parent worried about your loved one, worried about your kiddo, and not knowing what to do next. The most simple way I can break it down and summarize it is trust your gut and offer the space even if your child says no thanks. Let them know that if there's a concern, if there's something big enough that is drawing you to this world of looking at resources about how to get help for your kid or therapy in general, know and trust in that part of you, that you know that they need it, even if they don't know it yet. I will try to answer all the questions or acknowledge all comments that are put in the comment section below, but I hope that this was helpful for someone that's looking for support for their kiddo, and know that if you're looking for support for your kiddo, the next thing you need to do is look for support for yourself. Because with one part changes within a family dynamic, but everything else stays the same. The one part that changes, probably your kiddo if you're sending your kiddo to therapy. Everything else needs to find ways to shift to. Otherwise, the kiddo feels like they are the identified patient if there's something wrong with them, and that is never the case. I said it. I said that's an absolute. It is never the case that when a kid goes to therapy that it is all their issue. Everyone within that system needs to get some help. All right, thanks for coming and joining me for this segment, and I'll keep posting content. Please let me know what you'd like me to share about, and I will create the videos. All right, love and light.